Hey, look at that. It worked. I'm very happy about this. Welcome to the C.H.U.M.s. Are we calling it a podcast or a show? It's more of a show, right?
Whatever you want it to be.
I'm going to say it's a show right now because I don't know what else it would really be. So
It's a shotcast.
That sounds dangerous.
That's Bill.
It's very close to a shark cast.
Well, I like the danger.
Hey, you got the name for a reason, right? That is Bill, the skull in the bottom. And to my, camera
You're right.
left, is Brian. Bill, Brian, and I have been friends since, fifth grade, sixth grade, something like that? Late elementary, early middle?
Elementary school. I say we really didn't start hanging out until what? Sophomore year?
Yeah, probably. So yeah, we've been friends forever. We did a podcast, well, 2 podcasts technically. Those feel like fucking eons ago. And we haven't done one in, I think, 2006. So 6 years now, almost.
Seems like yesterday.
Yeah, in weird way, it really does. So we were talking over COVID and how we wanted to do something, and so this was kind of the first iteration of what we thought we might want to get into. So this is like a book club, but like for movies. So we will find a movie that at least 2, if not 3 of us have never seen or haven't seen in forever. Watch it and then discuss whatever. And Brian had a good idea of coming up with questions, so I think we should continue doing that down the road. I don't know if they have to be the same questions. Maybe the first 2 would be good, especially when they're older.
Yeah, I mean, I just thought there should be some sort of questions every time just to kind of spark some conversation. Maybe like a behind the actor's studio, at the end we always run through the questions and see how they pertain to the movie.
Yeah, so our first movie, we tried for 2 months to come up with a name, and I think the earliest one of the earliest ones we came up with was some spin on C.H.U.D. And Brian came up with Cinematic Humanoid Underground Movies, and then was nice enough to make the logo over there that you see on the screen.
I don't see a logo on the screen.
No, you won't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I know what it looks like anyway.
Yeah, you made it, so
Yeah, you don't get to see it anymore. It's gone from you.
Yeah. I mean, if you turned on Twitch, you would see it, but it doesn't really matter. So I watched C.H.U.D. I want to say like 4 years ago for my movie marathon thing. And I hadn't seen it since. I watched it, last week or week before last again. And it's a weird movie. It's a really weird movie. I think I enjoyed it.
I didn't. I had never seen this movie. I mean, I've known about this movie for years, and I've never sat down to watch it, and I don't know, it never gave me it never gives you what you want out of it.
No.
First they don't get to the C.H.U.D s fast enough, and then you don't see the C.H.U.D s that much. There really isn't I don't know. There wasn't. It was just lacking a lot of meat for me anyway. Because when it ended, I was like, "Well, that's it." They just the manhole cover caught on fire, and then they roll credits.
Yeah, I went back and read my review that I did of it back then, and I was like, I don't remember exactly what I thought of, but yeah, it's hilarious. That movie is just like, yo, we blew up this truck that wasn't in a sewer, and I guess they're all dead. I don't know. Cool. End of movie. It's like the most boom snap ending.
You have to go watch C.H.U.D 2, which continues.
Bud the C.H.U.D.
Bud the C.H.U.D. I haven't watched that either, but Yeah, apparently they went through and killed all of them, and the last remaining one is Bud the Chud, which gets set free or something along those lines. But yeah, man, that's why I was thinking, like, well, how would you make this better? How would you remake it? And make it into, how would you do it today?
I don't know that you could change. I mean, I don't know that you should change a lot with it, other than like, the special effects and makeup and whatever. But like the bulk of the movies, it sounds cheesy, but it's kind of timeless.
There are a lot of, yeah, I mean, having radioactive things in the sewer, I think that's a trope you've seen hundreds of times.
Sure.
I thought it would be good to, like, if you were to bring it into today's landscape, you'd have I would make it Korean, and I would get like a Korean director to redo it, and kind of like Blade, like make it in the future, but in
Okay.
Korea, and then like think Blade Runner with monsters. Instead of I don't know, it'd be really cool because you think in the future, like the sewer system and tunnels, there'd be all kinds of different things down there than just like sewer.
Like
It's a
the
lot of
ghettos, in the first Judge Dredd movie, just like
kind of, yeah.
weird
There's like a
robots and
whole,
like people living on top of each other. And
yeah, it's just like a whole class system. It's a whole other environment down there. And then you have these people, these chuds coming out. And honestly, I was rooting for the chuds to come out and start killing people because there was nobody likable in the film. I don't think, anyway. I mean,
Oh, I don't
the
know,
whole
man.
balloon guy.
I was really well. I was surprised at how much I liked this movie,
Okay.
except for uh, the John Hurd and Kim, was it Grist, the photographer,
the
his
model.
model.
The creepy peeping Tom with anger issues.
Well, whichever. I mean, no, just their relationship was like shoehorned into this movie. It just every time it cut back to like something between the two of them. It felt really.
It was very disjointed.
Yeah. The pacing it interrupted the like getting to the C.H.U.D s exactly. Like I thought Daniel Stern was like freaking awesome.
Yeah, I totally spaced on the fact that he was in it, and then his credit came up, and I was like, "Holy shit, Daniel Stern is in this!" I totally forgot, and then he's great in that movie.
Yeah, like he's really good. I thought he was the likable one. I wanted to follow him around a lot more than
He was the most
the first.
likable one. I would argue that there wasn't a single likable person in here. It just reminded me of like how much it's just how everybody was portrayed as a dick in the 80s. Like
Yeah.
especially in New York or like cities, like everybody's just a dick to each other. Everybody's yelling at each other. And it's the same thing with this. Everybody started yelling. And I'm just like, God, these people need to die. And then they survive. At the end, all the dicks survive for the most part.
One of the people who usually hangs out in my streams with me, Faceless, he said that someone told him that this is the most New York movie ever, and I was like, "All right, I can see that." Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, everybody's just like, if over I don't know, that guy, the camera guy, the photographer, he is just a bad person. He's
Yeah.
bad at his job
Yeah.
because he keeps blowing off that guy that keeps calling him.
Right.
Then he goes to a photo shoot and throws a temper tantrum. And then he's just like that's his acting in that movie. He just gets angry and yells at people. And even
Yeah.
Daniel Stern, I did like the when he went to see the people in the government, and he's like, "You're blind, buddy," and he stuck the thing in the guy's face. Hey, yeah, I mean, it was likable, but there just wasn't enough Chuck for me.
Mm-hmm. I've heard they say that before.
I like a lot of Chud.
Uh-huh. I don't. Okay, so approaching the second part of that, like, if you remade it, who would you have in it? Like, I mean, if you're gonna make it in Korea, like that. I can't even speak to actors that I would throw into that just because I don't know enough of them by name.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
But
I kept thinking if it was made today, like Daniel Stern's character would be like shit, what's his name? Star Lord, Chris, one of the Chris's. What's his last name?
Pratt?
Chris Pratt.
You mean
It would be a
Mario?
character, it would be an actor like that. He would be like a semi-muscular, handsome lead. That would be it. I kind of do like that in the '80s. Everybody was ugly. They didn't have,
Yeah.
it was just ugly people everywhere.
Like, so what I've been thinking about, especially since you placed it in Korea in my head now, is like the main bad guy, the guy who's in charge of whatever the C.H.U.D factory, whatever it was called.
Right.
Like that would have to be an American actor, like it, because you have to that would have to be the villain, is the like greasy white guy who goes over there and like has dumped toxic whatever in the sewers and has transformed all these people into this terrible nightmare, because that's where he came from, like that's the job he's good at, is ruining economies or environments or whatever. So like I've been trying to think like who's the worst, like
White guy.
yeah, like, well, but not like a good actor who plays like a bad person.
Oh, who's the German guy that's in Quentin Tarantino's movies? Yeah,
Christoph
that
White.
guy.
David Hasselhoff.
Yes,
David
David
Hasselhoff.
Hasselhoff. That's his name. Yep, Christoph Waltz. Thank you,
Christoph
Basis.
Waltz. Yeah, I think he would be good as like the slimy foreigner, over there. But yeah, I mean, Korea. There's just a lot of cool Korean movies that have come out in the last 5-10 years. I think it'd be cool as a Korean movie.
I have not seen any of them. I will
Real quick,
really admit to that.
real quick about that character though. That the what he's the like the NRC guy that right, like, okay, did he have a lot of like dark makeup around his eyes? Was that, or was that just the actor, the way he
Wait,
looked should
are
have
you talking about the guy who he found his wife's severed head? That guy?
no, not Bosch. Um, the guy who was hiding all of the radioactive.
The bald
Um,
guy, the guy who shoots him at the end.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did it?
No, I think that's just '80s. Like that's just coke and
I was gonna say
drinking.
it's just coke.
He was I mean, it looked like he had some like uh, black eyes or something like that they either tried to cover up or they made it really interesting costume decision to darken like these. I don't know. Maybe it was just me. It was.
I don't know a lot about illicit drugs, but what I do know about coke is you don't do a lot of sleeping. So I imagine
Right.
that's probably part of it.
Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, the other way I think this movie would have been cool if you redid it is if like Stanley Kubrick did it back in the '70s. If it was just had a lot more like atmosphere, like think about The Shining and like the suspense and just like cool camera shots and um, just a good movie.
I mean,
Or like even a grittier like cop like a Charles Bronson kind of action. I don't know. Something with a lot more.
Oliver Hoven should have directed this.
oh yeah, I can get behind that.
Give it the RoboCop treatment. It would have been a cooler movie.
Yeah, not RoboCop 2.
No.
Shot at Chud in the dick on that one then.
I'm
We
sorry.
talking about Chud dick?
All I heard was Chud Dick.
Well, that's all you need to know then.
Okay, all right, fair enough. But that movie, like you said, suspense. But that movie, like the first 2/3 of that movie, almost was nothing but suspense because there was no chuds on screen. It was like, what's going on? All the sewer people are missing.
I checked. I paused it to see how long it was when the grandpa started shuffling down the street because I was like, nothing's happened yet. Then I saw that grandpa and I was like, ooh, that grandpa's going to get it.
Ooh, he's gonna get it.
I know that grandpa's going to get it. And I paused it right before he got attacked, and it was like 35 minutes into the movie, and you just don't. I don't know. there's a way to like slow boil a plot, and that wasn't the way to do it. Like you're there for the chud, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. If you're waiting for an
Okay,
answer,
yeah, I
the
was
answer
waiting
is
for you
yes.
Right. That's why we all were there.
Uh-huh.
And can we talk about the grandkid of that guy, the grandpa that gets killed right in front of her? That kid, you see that kid's brain just like melt.
Yeah.
Like
Just shuts down completely.
Well, yeah,
she
she goes
drops.
catatonic.
Yeah, she just drops down in the corner and just like nothing. Like her brain just oozed out of her ears. And then she's at the police station and she just has her head down on the table, not saying anything. I mean, I guess that's her life now.
Yep.
She just can't. She's so traumatized. You saw her brain
There's,
just break into a million pieces.
there's no way the kids in kindergarten are gonna believe this story.
No, they
Right.
tell that story all the time, and they're like, yeah, right. Yeah, that kid's probably still messed up.
That's what I'm saying. Like I'd like to look up that actress. Maybe they don't a lot of times with children they don't tell them what's going to happen in a movie, so they get like an honest reaction from them. Like what if that girl that's just how she actually that happened in real life. She just stopped talking. She didn't know a big humongous chud thing was going to go grab this nice guy that she was walking with.
I'd have to go back and look, but is she ever on screen with the Chud?
No, I paid attention to that because I was like, okay, a little kid in the 80s, with this in this horror movie, like, are they gonna have like, is she gonna get grabbed? What's gonna happen? So I paid attention to like the camera shots and the cuts and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they're never like together. She's not even with like.
Yeah, so she's reacting to a tennis ball on a stick, and they're saying, "Look, your mommy just left you in a grocery store somewhere. Get sad."
Yeah, your mommy just died. Don't they do that? They tell kids that their parents die all the time to get them to cry.
I don't know. I've never been on a movie production.
And honestly, I think the Chet made the wrong choice. I mean, obviously, you're going to take the kid, right? If you're just looking at it as food, like you don't want the old stringy man. You want like the young kid, right?
Yeah,
You
but
want
the kid's like
more tender.
the kid's like snack size. Like you want a meal. You know what I'm saying? Like you.
Yeah, but do you want to eat a really big, like shitty steak, or do you want like a really good, like filet mignon? You know what I mean?
But he's probably taking it back to
Shows
his.
are that discerning.
It's fair.
You don't think that you? So you don't think they're just like full on? I gotta eat. Doesn't matter what it is. Bigger the better. There's no like chud connoisseur that like.
Yeah, because they're going after the homeless people in the first place. I mean, if you're looking
Oh,
for,
can you imagine the seasoning on a homeless person? Though?
I mean,
They're out in it.
that would be ripe and off-putting. I mean, I think if I wanted to go buy a steak, I would get one that was clean
You
and wrapped.
don't think the chuds? You don't think a ripe homeless person doesn't smell good to a chud? They live in the sewer.
So then probably some like ratty old guy is more appealing than like some clean little kid.
Oh, because the kid doesn't smell like shit, but the grandpa does. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Check it depends.
He's wearing "Oops, I Crap My Pants."
Yeah, it does depend, doesn't it?
Boo.
Can I give you an IMDb interesting thing real quick?
Please.
Don't ask permission.
Yeah, well, the little girl, all she was ever in was Chud. She never acted in anything else. There's no
Scar for
I can
life.
see why.
filmography, like just going back to like getting fucked up from like being in a movie like this.
Like,
it's like, yeah. I think I'm Hollywood.
I wonder if she went to like years down the road, just people asking her like, you were an actress at one time. I saw you in like Crest commercials or whatever, and like you never did anything after that. What happened? And she just like looks like grabs them by the shoulders and just dead-eyed stare right into their pupils and just chud. And they're like, I got you.
For yourself. Look at what they did to me.
Right, yeah. Just hands him like a DVD of Chud.
Yeah, I hate to like hate this to death, but like whole scene was like, what the fuck in that whole scene? Like, why were they out so late? Like, what time of night was this?
Yeah, I think that's a really irresponsible grandpa.
Like, and he's like, we're on the way to meet, I guess, her dad or something like that.
Somebody, yeah.
You know what?
And he's
You know what
lost. Where are they?
actually happened? He dialed for the time. He wasn't talking to anybody. That mailman was senile, lost with his grandkid downtown. There's probably an ATV out for him, and he's going up to every he's going up to every phone
Just
booth,
hitting time and
making
temperature every
imaginary
paper.
phone calls because he's out of his mind with Alzheimer's. And I mean, it's. I think we're witnessing probably maybe the best thing that could have happened in that instance. Maybe
Wow,
That was a
bold
mercy killing.
statement.
she got rescued, right? How did she? Well, yeah, I want to know the connective tissue between how the little girl got into the possession of the
Don't ask
police.
questions. Nope.
Did
Don't ask
she
questions.
call? She clearly couldn't call. She couldn't even stand up. I mean, she could add no more function in her body.
Maybe the Chud killed the grandpa and was like, "Look, I'm really sorry. Hold on. Beep beep beep. Like, hey, there's a kid at this payphone. Click."
Was there? Do you think there was like a life alert situation, like a Chud alarm? Or
Probably
Chud alarm.
okay. So like the senile grandfather was already reported to be missing, so they were probably already looking for him. It was
so
like
the police just didn't get there fast enough.
right.
They never do.
Right. No,
And
but
frankly, the police were assholes too. I mean, this movie made John Goodman into an asshole. I mean, like, I don't know. Everybody
like
was
a
just
gross perverted asshole.
yeah. That was really strange. It wasn't. It's not a good look for anybody in this film.
Nope, it's really not.
And okay, I have a couple of questions about that shower scene.
Okay, go on.
yep.
Well, number one, I was watching it and I was just like, okay, that's such a trope, a shower scene. I mean, I think it's just since Psycho, there's always a shower
I know where you're
scene
going with
in
this,
horror
by the way,
movies.
and I'm along for the ride. So,
Are they necessary? Is there ever a shot, a plot device that has to be set in the shower? I'm going to argue 99% of the time not, because she's not doing anything except what happens? Like there's a clog, and then all of a sudden she unclogs and it blows up with blood.
So,
And
well, yeah. So she's taking a shower, and the shower backs up because fuck, I can't remember why. Something happens in the basement that clogs, like stops the drain, and then she like I don't I've had a clog in the shower before, which I was like, all right, I'll take care of this later. It's draining enough. But like she grabs a coat hanger from beside her and then like straightens it out and just starts going at the clog. I'm like, who does this while you're showering?
and then what did you hit? It was like I don't know. It
Giant
just made
lump
no
of
sense to
hair
me. Yeah,
and blood.
it made no
There was
sense
a
to me.
chud
And then it's just
squeezing up through the whole drain. For whatever
Chud.
floor they were on, it was a chud. She poked it in the eye.
Chud squeezins.
yeah. I feel like maybe in like an update too, the Chuds could have a little bit more. I don't know, culture. You should see them more as like because I mean they're I don't know. I mean you could just
Pinky
make them as
out.
animals, but they could have actual interactions with each other. Maybe make them a little bit more intelligent. Maybe have some strategy. Give them powers, some sort of power.
They did have a weird power. This is going back to the drain possibility because when she was samurai fighting with the chud and cut its neck off, it was stretching, so they can like manipulate their body in some way. So they not have already tried to like snake themselves up the drain.
They should have gone into that more. I think yeah.
There's a lot they could have gone through.
I'm just gonna keep saying that there just wasn't enough Chud and Chud.
Yep.
I have so many questions about the Chud. I want to see more about them.
Yeah, we
Maybe
need
like a spin-off Odd Couple in the sewer with a couple of
and I want to
Chuds.
know how he got the nickname the Reverend.
And now it's garbage. Yeah.
Oh, and speaking of little kids, the models, was that her son that was running around with all the lead paint on the walls?
No, that was
The little
somebody.
boy with
That
the
was
bold cut?
somebody. That was somebody else that lived in the apartment. I believe that was the woman who she met like immediately following the introduction scene. She was going down the stairs because they had just moved in or something, and
Yeah,
it
it
was
was like
like,
the landlady and
yeah,
the landlady's kid or something.
yeah, because she
So
was
was
like,
she
if you need anything,
babysitting
just
that
let us
kid?
know.
So was the model baby? Because I was confused because
No,
they
the
kept
model and the
cutting
kid were
back
not.
and forth between the model and the kid, and then she's like calling for somebody.
No, the
Or was
model and
that his mom? That was confusing to me.
no, the model and the kid were not connected in any way. The kid was running down the stairs because of the ball, and his
Right.
mom was actually calling for him. But they kept intercutting that with the woman in the shower or something like that. Or no, her in
She was
the
just like
in the
in her
bedroom.
apartment, just like
Yeah,
straightening up.
yeah. Hey,
But yeah, the first
yeah,
thing I saw, he was in an old building and he walked past this wall and it's just all cracked paint. I'm like,
shredded
that
red.
kid is
Yep.
definitely eating lead paint. Like
hmm
he has a
It's like
steady diet of lead paint going on.
got a snack on the way down.
It's delicious. I don't know if you guys have ever had it.
No, I haven't.
And can we so the police officer, the
Which one?
chances of him
Yeah,
stumbling on
which one?
the one whose wife he stumbles onto the beach, sees the decapitated head of his wife and has almost no reaction, and somebody goes, "Oh, it's his wife, get him out of there." And then cut to him later, he's at the bar and he's just like talking about how she studied for school, and like that's it. Like nothing,
The two
no
other
Brad
cops that are
Pitt.
sitting there at the bar with him are
What's in
just
the
staring at
box?
him.
Yeah, I mean, this guy just saw supposedly the love of his life, which maybe it was on the rocks, because that's what I kind of thought. Because he almost sounded like her studying for school was annoying him, like it was
I
taking up
think
too much of his time
everything annoyed
or
that
her
guy.
time. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Everybody is just angry at everybody else, and
Hadn't she been missing for a couple of weeks already? So maybe he had already started to like.
I think it was a couple of days, maybe.
Yeah, it was a couple of days because wasn't she the one in the beginning that was walking the dog?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, in the
so
middle of a street in what looks like a bad part of town to begin with. I mean, why? I don't know. Maybe everybody had it coming. I think everybody did have it coming to them. The ones that got it.
mhm.
Well, when we see that dog later on, though, that was a pretty good special effect. I was kind of
Oh, the
impressed.
dog hanging.
Yeah, for its like I don't know, it didn't look like it was just like a stuffed animal that they had ripped the head off of and and put
So
up there.
you were like, "Ooh, nice dead dog."
Yeah, I was like, oh, you guys are
That's where the money went.
well, the props department. I
Oh, they
mean,
blew their budget on
the
that little
things in
dead
it that I
dog.
was like, this is better than I thought it would be, and not shade.
That made it for you.
I
That
was
made it
looking for
for you.
anything, man. I was looking for anything to enjoy about it because it was
Yeah.
waiting for the chuds.
And the chuds look kind of cool, but you can tell, like at one point when what was Daniel Stearns doing, where he comes across all the chuds kind of hanging out in the tunnel, and then he's trying to sneak past them. But I mean, I don't know.
And
And he
then
kicks a rock onto the tracks, and they all turn around. He just runs, and like nothing happens.
my
But it
favorite
looked
part
like
of that was that he was like he's like peeks around the corner and he's all seeing him and he's like, and then he like goes away and then he comes back. He's like, oh, and like stands there
yeah,
is like looking at him like, yeah, like like in my head, like the head canon for that was like he's looking at them like, yeah, those guys are doing what they need to do to survive, and he's like, I'm gonna go check them out, and then he trips over the rock or whatever.
look at this chud commune down here, man. No capitalism.
That's right.
Like fuck the man. Look at what they're doing.
Yeah.
But it
Yeah, I thought
clearly looked. Go ahead, Bill.
I'm sorry. I was going to say I thought the movie was trying to make it seem like the Chuds were having like some kind of meeting, like they were like plotting, like this was going to be like, oh, we're going to find out what the Chud plan is, what they're up to.
There's one of them with a
like
laser pointer, like
there was
pointing
going to
it.
be like some kind of unfolding, and that's why Daniel Stern's character needed to get closer to find out, what's the secret. We'll find their weakness or something. But it
Excuse me, I speak chud.
like standing around staring at each other, and he kicked a rock. Yeah,
Yeah, he only knows a couple words of chud.
Mm-hmm.
He knows how to say hello, I'm sorry, and like bathroom. That's all I can
Nice.
say.
he's a
Nice.
worldly guy. He was what a physicist at one point.
What? Daniel
Yes,
Stearns?
I believe.
It's like
No, his character. Yes, I believe that's what he
No,
says.
that's what I'm saying. His character. I must have missed that part.
Yeah, he says
He
it.
was
like a
He said it when he was in the meeting with the government people. He said something like, I was a physicist or not
You sure he just wasn't
astrophysicist.
blowing smoke? Like why? Because I think they were questioning while he was there, right?
I don't know. He didn't explain it to me.
Mm, so many questions.
what was he
But
doing?
yeah,
He was showing the cop all of the stuff that he found in the sewers, all the stuff that was left behind from the NRC.
mm,
He's like, this is like a Geiger counter or whatever like that. And the cop's like, well, how do you know? And he's like, because I used to be like a nuclear physicist or something
Nuclear
like that.
physicist. Yeah, I think that's what he says. Yeah.
And it's like, what a throwaway line. It's like,
yeah, you think there would be more to that, or it would come
Just
back
a-
up at least.
Just like a flashback all of a sudden.
but he takes it back. He says something like, or not really, just kidding or something, But the attempt at humor there was like way overshadowed that line and the other one where Daniel Stern's character rescues Daniel Hurd's character from the sewers from the I guess they just found that the dead homeless guy who wasn't really dead, who was like a Nosferatu or something like that. Um,
The one with the knife?
yeah, no. The one that had the leg injury from before,
Oh, yeah.
and they go back, and
It's a
then
gnarly injury.
yeah, they find him again, and he's all like gray and half in this mutated transition, but he's got like
Right.
hair teeth. No, don't remember that.
Yeah.
Anyway, he said
Yeah, I
something
know.
about like Daniel Stern's like, I'm from the soup kitchen, and the guy's like, thank God they deliver. Like,
Yes. Yeah, it was a weird.
what the hell is all I can say about that.
Yeah, I feel like they could have gone just a little extra and just made this into more of a comedy, like a little bit more slapstick. Because the Chuds
I
from
feel like
far
they
away, it
want
looked
to.
like somebody that was like they just hit up the local Halloween, pop-up store, and they just had like a plastic head and arms, and they're running around. Up close, they look cool, but yeah, I don't know. I could see this being a lot more like that. I don't feel like they really were committed to one genre. Like if this was a horror movie, it should have been it should have been grosser and gnarlier and darker. And then they tried to put some comedy into it, but it wasn't really funny. And it
I
was
don't
kind of
think
cheesy. I don't know. They needed to lean into one thing or the other.
going to that
Absolutely.
your third question. Like I 100% do not believe this was a comedy in any way, shape, or form. Like I don't think
So
this.
this is a tragedy. This is definitely a tragedy.
Sure. I mean, it's definitely not a comedy. Like there were funny quips and one-off lines, like the thank God they deliver. But like,
Hmm.
in no way did I get the feeling like this should have been like a goofy, campy horror comedy romp. This was intended to be like a weird satirical like play on, oh man, the cities are
Class
dying.
allegory.
Yeah. Right. I never once thought. That's why when you sent me that message, I was like, oh no, this was definitely not a comedy.
Hey, I'm gonna hit the bathroom real quick. So
Oh, okay. I'm gonna stare at this post on your. Oh, there's your cat. Well, at least turn it. There we go. Thank you. I guess we're taking a break then.
Okay, I won't comment on.
You can comment on his cat. It's kind of a cute looking cat.
Well, I can't really see. Your video
Oh,
came up.
Fair
Still,
enough.
I don't know what that's all about.
I can't remember what its cat's name is. I would talk to it if I could remember.
I think it's whatever Japanese for cat is.
Yeah, Wesley or something.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. All I'm gonna say again, I don't know. I liked it more than I thought I was gonna like it, and realized that I hadn't seen it, even though I know I've seen the box on the VHS box on like every rental shelf for every video store I've ever gone in forever.
Yeah.
And swore to be as familiar with it as I was, and not, have seen it like I was watching it and was like, No, I've never seen any of this before. Like, I don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah, I
Rang
hadn't
no
seen
bells
it.
for me.
It's such a
I-
weird thing to be in, to be like that familiar with a movie and not, and realize like, wow, I've never really seen this.
Well, we also worked at Blockbuster and saw all these shitty movies on VHS, like the box art, every time we were there, and you know,
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's weird though. It was like to be around it and be like, yeah, I know Chud. Yeah, I know that movie. No, I've never seen it.
nope.
Well, yeah, it was. It wasn't a time where Bill, you and I talked about it, where I wasn't at. It was in '84, so I was 6, and I wasn't into horror movies. I didn't watch horror movies for a while until I got older. And so it's one of those things I was always
Really?
aware
6?
of. Like I was aware of, Jason and Friday the 13th and Critters and Chud and all this stuff at the time, but I didn't watch any of them. So I mean, yeah. If you ask me like, yeah, do you know Chud? I'd say, yeah, I know Chud. I know what Chud is, but yeah, I
We go way
never
back.
watched. I'd never have seen this movie, so I'm glad I finally watched it, and I don't ever have to watch it again. It was okay.
That's it.
That's about it. That's,
I even said, like Bill said, I liked it a lot more than I thought I was going to, but even liking it a lot more than I thought I was going to, I've seen it twice now. I watched it again just so I would get to watch, just like have a conversation about it. But like, I'm probably never going to watch it again. I'm good. I have no desire to watch the second one, like whatsoever.
I feel very compelled to watch the sequel now.
Oh,
You need to
well.
out.
you need some closure on that.
Absolutely.
And I looked up the where this came from, the guy who did the screenplay, and then the guy who directed it. The guy who directed it never really directed anything again. And the guy who wrote the screenplay is really like an author, I guess, who decided to write a screenplay, and he really didn't have any screenplays or anything after that. So this is, I don't know.
The
It's
beginning and ending of lots of careers.
yeah. I mean, the guy directed this, and then just like, no, I'm going to be an editor. I'm going to be a writer.
I
He
just want to
didn't
cut.
direct anymore.
I just
Guy
want
who
to
did the
cut shit
screenplay
all
was
day
like, no, I'm
long.
just going to write books. I don't
Yeah,
think this is for me.
seems like a lot of the folks that were involved, actors and then producers, directors, whatever, behind the scenes stuff. A lot of the prior work that they had was like made for TV movies or like short run like TV series, like something in like the 2 or 3 seasons kind of thing. It was like very amateur, like or new to the, I don't know, new to film. I don't know. And before they got into this, and then yeah, I think a lot of folks were like, yeah, I'm gonna go back to the made for TV movies. And,
I'm gonna go back to the stuff that I like.
yeah, it was like I don't know what the conversation was that they would have had, with someone who wanted to make this movie and was like, yeah, we want you on board to do this, and they're like, yeah, okay, let's all get on to this, and then film it, and it comes out, and they're like, yeah, never mind.
Was this Daniel Stern's first movie?
No way, he's been in.
He
Well,
would have been. I don't know. Let me look that up.
I mean,
I was gonna
I
say, I've
realize
got
it's
that
not his
record
last,
somewhere.
obviously, but like, how many movies has he been in before that?
I don't know.
He was around a lot in the
A few of
'80s
those guys,
and
like
'90s.
John Hurd and he, were in Home Alone again later on, and
Well, right,
and
that's way after
something
though.
else.
They
Well,
called
just that
themselves the Chud Boys on the set at Home Alone.
yeah, I was going to say that it
Every
was
time you
weird
saw
that
each other, like Chud Boys.
it's weird that Chud has the pairing of those before, like so early on in their career. But let me see. IMDb's got him.
I type, but apparently my keyboard is very loud. So
In quite a few movies. There's one he plays student number 2
oh,
and a crazy kid.
His very first movie was called Breaking Away.
what
He
year?
did. That was '79. So he was pretty active until Chud. Chud was his 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, his 13th movie. So
Makes
he's been
sense.
around the block. He was in Diner, which I've never seen that either. But
Yeah, I don't know. It was like I said, I totally spaced on the fact that he was in that movie, and when he popped up, his credit popped up in the beginning. I was like, hell yeah! All right, I'm down. And then I
he's
remembered
been in,
watching his character and enjoying his character in that movie.
he's been in quite a bit actually. I mean, he's pretty long career.
Well, I
Good
know
for
he's been
him.
in a lot since. I just didn't know how much before.
Yeah, just a few.
He's still-
But Chud definitely had a lot of that. Like, I don't know, there was a bunch of moments of like, hey, that guy, hey, that
Mhm.
guy. And it
Yeah,
was,
there was a lot of what do they call them? Character actors, just like people who are like, oh, like exactly like, oh, that guy. Okay, yeah.
yeah, like the one interrogation cop, whatever his deal was. Um, he was in so many like movies and sitcoms. Like I just remember him from like the '80s. He was in like everything.
The main bad guy, I remember his face from something, but I couldn't figure out what it was from, what that I knew him from, the NRC guy.
Yeah.
So what else?
It was like a younger Paul Bearer.
Yeah, he did kind of have a Paul Bear look to him.
He didn't have the right voice. That's all I got. I don't know. I don't know nothing else.
There's not a lot of meat there to go with. I think more
No.
Chud, just better everything, better story, dialogue, directing. Um, yeah, well, it was okay. Maybe we should come up with a rating system.
Okay.
Like
It's a hard
We
thing to
don't
manhole.
have
come up
to
with.
do it right now.
Yeah, I
We
was
don't
like,
have to
that's
do
a
it right
hard thing to come up with on the fly, but all right.
now. We'll talk about it.
Sure. Yes, we will. So, I guess what we really need to go ahead, Bill.
I give it a
Right. Me.
yeah, perfect.
Okay. All right. Well, it's a good rating scale. I don't know where it tops out or where it bottoms out, but I would say that's somewhere in the lower third of that scale.
We'll nail it down. We'll get it straight. This is just our first outing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, we're going to be totally professional by the second or third.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
How are we going to pick the next movie? That's
That was my next question. I have no fucking clue.
because
I
I've got a
feel
couple. I've got a couple locked in the chamber.
okay. How many of them are? I don't know. I was trying to come up with a joke, but I couldn't. So what? What do you got?
Well, so one is called Hanzo the Razor, which is Scott. You're familiar with? I'm sure you've heard me talk about Zatoichi, the
Hmm.
blind
Blind
samurai.
swordsman. Yes.
It's the same guy who plays Zatoichi, but in a different samurai story. He's a completely different character. Um, I don't want to tell you too much about it. It's kind of crazy. It'd be a good one to maybe see. And then the other one uh, is it called The Strongest Man in the World?
You tell me. Is it?
Would you like it to be?
Or is it called World's Strongest Man? It's about this guy. I cannot even describe it to you. Let me find it first.
I think a big point of contention, well, not contention, a big, what do I want to say? Something that needs to factor into how we watch these movies is how readily accessible they are. Movies that are bananas to find probably not going to be the best. You gave me the Zatoichi movies, but like,
Right. Under the Razor is on HBO Max. You have that?
Yeah, I knew it was on HBO Max. I think you can get it on Prime. Now there's a documentary. I'm gonna have to look it up. I mean, we can Does anybody else have any ideas?
For next movies to watch? No. I sure don't.
Are you serious?
Yes. Deadly serious. Deadly serious.
Talk about this stuff though. I mean, figure it out.
Yeah, we don't have to air all our dirty laundry right now. We can figure this out off the air.
Yep. There's a bunch of movies that are still on my Plex server that I've never watched. So, I could go through.
Yeah, we can go through those too.
Half of that. Because, Bill, you still have access to that too, right?
Yep, sure do.
Yes, it's one episode and then we're done. I also don't have any kind of way of getting out of this podcast, video, chatcast, whatever we called it. That'll come with time as well, I guess. There's a small part of me that now that we're doing things with movies, there's a small part of me that kind of wants to bring back Sunny Velvet a little bit. Like, just to...
If he made a cameo in like C.H.U.D, what would his character be?
Oh.
Like we could just play what's the porn name? What's the name of this movie if it was a porn? If it was made into a porn?
I mean, that's just PUD, right?
Yeah, I was thinking, or C.H.U.D.
Okay. Yeah.
I can't do anything better than those.
But if you, yeah, I feel like you'd have to do PUD, and then you'd have to come up with whatever the acronym stands for. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, but we don't want to torture ourselves trying to do that right now.
No,
that's why
we don't.
If that's something we want to do in another episode, we'll say that's what we're gonna do at the end.
For sure. Yeah, and then I can just I can plug all our merch. I think I put the shirt on sale out there. Not that anybody's really gonna buy it, but like, it turned out pretty good. That shirt looks real good. Let me see if I actually put it on for sale, up for sale, I should say. I've just been fucking around, like thinking of things that I could pluck from the old podcast to put in there. So I don't know if you actually saw the All Man Boners Band t-shirt.
I did see that.
Yeah, it turned out pretty well too. I like the idea of the Sunny Velvet tour shirt, but I don't like the font. I have to fuck around with that and get it to look better. But I like that, the quote unquote tour shirt with all the titles that won during the time we were doing Sunny Velvet.
Yeesh. I don't know. I think I kind of look back on some of the stuff that we came up with over the last 15 years, and I just don't know if some of that's still fit for consumption. Especially us being older and the climate's a little bit different,
Yeah. Times change, man.
Yeah.
What we considered, funny between us, making up poor names and stuff like that. Some of that, I don't know. I might cringe at a couple of things that we came up with.
But I've listened to the vast majority of those as I cut them all out to post them again, possibly. And the majority of them are fine. Sadly, the absolute worst one that I don't think we could ever do anything else with has to be Tan Frank. Like, I don't think Tan Frank will play anymore.
I think no, and I don't think like sexual werewolf, like that whole conversation is very sensitive anymore.
No. But Tan Frank's probably the worst. It's still funny to me because in the moment where we were the culmination of however many other movies and dumb shit we had done with Sunny Velvet, that in the moment is still funny, in the same way that watching a movie from like the early 2000s, there's scenes where you're like, that's kind of funny, but like, I don't want to be associated with that anymore.
That's kind of what I'm saying. There's some stuff maybe it just maybe leave it
But
in the
like
past.
looking at the names, like the names on a shirt are just like, oh, okay, that's just cheesy, shitty porn names. Like there's nothing really that can be without hearing the back and forth or getting the terrible backstories that go along with it. Those names are just bad names. They're not like they're not names that if someone would read them on a list in front of a court, you would get in trouble for. You know what I mean? Like it's just they're just really terrible movie names. Like they are
No,
what they
yeah,
are.
yeah. No, I agree. I just don't know that we need to promote as much of some of that stuff.
No, and
That's all.
I part of me wants to go back and like pull all that shit off of archive.org because it's there and like maybe it shouldn't be there just because.
That might not be a bad idea.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
Younger me said a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
He said a lot of things.
Yeah. I had to go back and find some stuff and found an episode where there were some things said and I was like, "Oh, this doesn't need to live anywhere in the world right now, period." Like I have to get rid of this completely. So, yeah. Yeah. Yep. But this was fun. Yeah. I enjoyed this.
At least we're aware.
Yeah.
There's some people that don't care.
Yep, for sure.
We're growing as men.
What was that, Bill?
I said we're growing as men.
We are. And that's what I didn't like about this movie. Nobody learned a goddamn lesson. Nobody evolved or changed at all. You know, there weren't any story arcs in C.H.U.D. Not even C.H.U.D. Except maybe a good portion of their species got wiped out in a fiery holocaust.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Everyone from the beginning, from their introduction to the end, like if they died in the movie, they died as they lived.
Right.
And no one changed. Maybe that was something I hadn't realized.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it till you said it.
Yeah, they all started and ended as the same people.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. You would think if you go through an ordeal like that, you think you would learn, would pick something up, maybe question your life and your choices a little bit. But
yeah, that photographer's just going on to take more pictures of like C.H.U.D bodies or something. Like that's his deal.
Yeah, he's good. Well, it's the 80s were just like so gross and capitalistic and all about money, and that's what you see in this movie. Like all the bad people are they're throwing toxic waste into the sewer because they don't care. This guy's angry at everybody. He doesn't care. He's just all about money, and that's what capitalism will get you. C.H.U.D s everywhere, especially in the 80s. That's why in Korea,
still today.
That's why if it was set in Korea, they have a lot of class struggle over there. Just not like we don't, but I think it would be more poignant maybe if it was a Korean movie now. And they just make really cool monster movies.
Yeah. Kind of wanted to be like a kaiju movie too. Just giant C.H.U.D comes out of the sewer.
You mean like Ultraman. Ghostbusters style? Like at the end, there's one big C.H.U.D they got to defeat?
Like Ghostbusters 2, where they're fighting it with the Statue of Liberty?
Oh, well, I was thinking more Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, but yeah.
No.
It didn't escalate very much. It was always just like guys in a C.H.U.D costume running around a sewer. That was about it.
I thought it was going to when that one C.H.U.D's neck started stretching out like Evil Ernie or Eddie in Evil Dead, and I was like, oh, it's going to be one of those kind of things. And then she just chopped its head off, and that was it. And I was like, oh, well, the C.H.U.Ds didn't learn anything either.
Poor guys. I feel bad for the C.H.U.Ds. I was rooting for the C.H.U.Ds.
This might be the only time I root for C.H.U.Ds.
Bill, you have anything?
Yeah, I think that's it. I should probably get back to the soup kitchen.
All right, Reverend.
Okay. I'm gonna open up my blinds and hang out with my cat.
Nico, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Sleek. Yeah,
That's not
just like you said.
important.
Wesley, yes. What? Huh?
Huh? Okay, bye.
Yeah, I don't know. This is the end of the show. We're just gonna go away now. Thanks for hanging out.
Yep.
I enjoyed doing this. We need to do this more often. But I guess we're gonna do this once a month. Oh, Brian already dipped. He's out. He said, "Fuck it." He's gone. Bill, are you still there? Or am I talking to myself?
Yeah, I'm still. I was waiting.
This guy over here just said, "Fuck it, I'm gone." All right. Well, then I guess I'll say, "Fuck it, I'm gone too."
Word.
Okay, Billiam. Have a good evening, sir.
You too.
Bye. Ah, it's just me. It's just me. Sneak peeks. Look at this shit. Oh, yeah. Things to come. Oh, yes. Things to come.